Whew. Okay, here we are. Um, Thanks, friends, for joining me again for keeping it together. Uh, in I'm really excited to have my friend Kaitlin here, and I'm really glad that it's Kaitlin today, particularly because, as I guess many of you know, I had surgery just like 8 days ago, and I'm in a lot of pain. I'm really tired, and I'm recovering, and Caitlin just has a gentle spirit, and, so I knew she'd be a good person to talk to. For those of you who don't know her already, her name's Caitlin Curtice. She is a member of the Potawatomi tribe. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
And, she's an author and a poet and a storyteller, and I would say a healer, and, she writes about rest and resistance and creativity and spirituality, and, we've known each other, I think, for about 10 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and, I think before I know there's something that you wanna bring today, we're gonna get to that, but I know that you write about rest a lot, and so it's, that's like rest is my work right now, um, after this surgery, and, sometimes that's easier than others, to not feel like, "Well, I'm not being productive, I'm not," I mean, I did put something up yesterday, I'm like, "I went for a slow walk and unloaded the dishwasher," like,
Yep.
that's it, that was my whole day. Um, and I don't know, I just wondering if you have any words of encouragement for me around reframing rest, before we get going with the other thing we wanted to talk about.
Yeah. Well, Chimigwech, thank you for having me here with you. And I love just being able to see your face and be in this space with you. Um, it's making me think about Manoba Madzuin, which is in our Potawatomi language means living the good life or living in a good
Yeah.
way. And we also have this tool, the medicine wheel, which is a circle, 4 quadrants that reminds us of how to live a balanced life.
Mm,
And I struggle sometimes with balance, like, because I feel like it's nearly impossible for everything to truly be balanced equally. So I think
yeah.
of the medicine wheel as like those old Dance Dance Revolution games where you're like standing on the wheel and you're just like dancing between the 4 quadrants. And for a little
Mhm.
while, you might need to be in your mental health quadrant. And for a little while, you might need to be in your emotional health quadrant. For a while, you might need to really just be in your body. And
Yeah.
um, that's just coming up a lot. For me, I live with chronic illness and I constantly have to dance between these spaces. And that is what so many of us hold. So allowing it, allowing the actual balance of our life and our way of living a good life is choosing to practice that dance and to honor where you might be really dancing is like you danced to the dishwasher and that was great. And
Mm.
you danced down the street for a few minutes and that was great, and that was it, and that was your dance for the day, and I think honoring
Yeah.
that can feel it doesn't I love getting shit done, so it's really hard for me to surrender to that, a lot of the time, but if I can honor it and know, like, this is part of the work too, it is held in all of its wholeness for me, maybe I can lean in a little further and trust it.
Yeah, that's helpful. I remember telling my spiritual director years ago, I was like, everyone talks about it's about balance, balance, balance. And I'm like, I feel like all this talk about balance is just some more shit that society made up to make me feel bad about myself because I don't balance anything. I'm I have two speeds, go and stop.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I I don't do anything a little bit.
yeah,
I'm either, like, all in or
yeah,
not in at all, and so, the balance thing never worked, and she said, "Well, it's just probably not the wisdom for you," and then she
yeah,
goes, "What about rhythm instead?" You know? Like, a
yeah,
rhythm of
yep,
go and stop that's maintainable for you,
yes,
and just saying that was so helpful to me because just that reframing of, like, "Fuck balance." That's not the right thing for some of us. It's just a
yeah,
rhythm of intensity and withdrawal and with intensity and withdrawal.
yes, yes, yeah, and to honor there's still, like liminal space and phases in between all of that. Sometimes you're standing in the literal center of the medicine wheel and you're just like looking around trying to figure out where you need to put your foot next. And that's okay too. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be a constant decision either, that we can hold that space in the center too and just be there and be present to
Mm,
it.
yeah. Well, I know that you had something really particular you wanted to talk about in terms of like what's helping you keep it together right now that you wanted to kind of bring. And I'm pretty excited to hear you talk about that. So
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah. Well, when we had this conversation, gosh, maybe a month or two ago, and the first thing that came to mind was trees for me. And in Potawatomi, the word for tree is mtek. And um, it's ironic. We don't have any trees in our yard. We're in a rental house, and our landlords took all the trees. There's no trees. There's zero trees in our yard, which is really sad. But our neighbors have a lot of trees, so we draw from them, and there's trees like across the street, and we draw from them. Um, but trees have always just been beings that have grounded me, and I think
Mm,
a lot of us are longing, whether we realize it or not. Like our bodies are longing for earth and for
mm,
grounded. And I just want us to imagine and understand and embody our relationship with trees, not just for the fact that it's science and we get to breathe together, but that there's actually like wisdom and care and voice, embedded in these beings who are so old, so much older than us. We're just like little kids around them, and they have so much to teach us. And so listening and holding space with trees has been really beautiful lately. There's a tree nearby. We live near Valley Forge National Park, so in the national monument where Washington and his troops were, super great. And but the land itself is beautiful. And there's this elder tree there. She's a grandmother elm, and she has one of the spiciest, most opinionated voices I've ever heard from a tree before. And so she's beautiful, Like the first time I met her, it was just so clear that she had things to say and I needed to listen. And so having those relationships has been a real lifeline for me. And and just as a human, not even like whether you're indigenous or not, just being able to go and say, I need space to sit beneath this body, this being, and let them hold me. That's a human need. And I think it's good for us to recognize that need.
that's amazing. Opinionated trees, opinionated grandmother trees.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love what you said about our bodies are longing for earth. I mean, I've never been, my friends will tell you I've never been like an outdoorsy person. I'm really very addicted to comfort and convenience. And when I was grieving deeply, in 2021, I walked the Camino de Santiago for 5.5 weeks, I was outside all day long.
Mm.
And, and I came back and there's no convenience. There's no comfort. The beds are terrible. The food's a war crime. Like there is nothing like your body is screaming. It's so like your muscles are so sore, all of that. You have blisters. And I came back going, why was my own personal neuroticism at like an all-time low when had 5.5 weeks of my life where I lacked the 2 things that I think will make me happy, comfort and convenience, you know? And part of it was just being outside. It sounds so simple, but part of it was just being outside, and it felt like and that sort of rhythm of walking, and it felt like my spirit unfurled into the space that I was in. I don't know how else to say it, like, because there was nothing containing me. And, it sounds very woo-woo for me, but, uh, it made me long to be outside ever since. So the last 5 years, it's really shifted for me in terms of I really actually wanna be spending time outside. I wanna listen to birds, and I wanna see the green, and, like, just sort of knowing that is a deep need because, I mean, look, like I've mentioned several times on these, like, Homo sapiens have been around for a few 100,000 years, and for, like, what, 10,000 of those, 20,000 of those, we haven't been hunter-gatherers, do you know what I mean? Like, mostly we're adapted to be outside and to be
Yep.
moving our bodies and to be, you know, uh, in community and relying on each other, like, there are just these basic things that we're adapted for as a species that we have been so addicted to comfort and convenience that we've removed ourselves from those, and, um, yeah, so that's what I was kinda thinking of when you brought up your need for trees.
Yeah, I love that you use the word unfurl because I think that is so much of what we need to do. It doesn't have to be the drastic change from who we are now to who we'd like to be in the world. And I think that happens a lot with people, the fear of change and growth and transformation because they don't want it to hurt so bad. It's not they don't want to rip band-aids off their skin. They want to unfurl. And sometimes it comes as a shock to our system, but sometimes it
Yeah,
can just be this beautiful unfurling. I didn't grow up in an outdoorsy family, even if I'm indigenous, like, it wasn't like that in my family, and there was a lot of, trying to cover and comfort in our trauma, and we weren't doing that by having ceremony and, like, going to those places. So even for me as an adult, I've had to learn to re-engage my relationship with the earth, and I was close to her. I was close to trees, I would sing with them, and I would use my imagination with them, but I didn't know how to name it, you know? And so even for me, my unfurling has happened over time, and
yeah,
I think we need to give ourselves that permission to become with the earth, and she's never gonna judge us for that. She's never gonna no tree is gonna be like, "Where have you been?" Like, "Don't even come near." They're going to hold us and say, "Welcome home," like,
right,
"Finally, it's time. Let's learn
yeah.
something." Like, they're gonna hold us.
I remember on another long walk I was on last year, it was in the middle of a lot a very spicy news cycle, like, very spicy,
Mm,
and I was walking with my husband from the Irish Sea to the North Sea across England, and just seeing, just being in these we walked through 3 national parks in the UK, right? So it was just backcountry, and looking at these beautiful valleys and streams, and I was like, "Th there is nothing that I can see in my visual field that gives a fuck what's going on in the United States right now." Do you know what I mean? Like, unaffected, like, totally unaffected, and if I allow my sense of reality to
yeah,
be defined again, I say it every week on these, to be defined by what I'm seeing in a news cycle or from influencers or in my little phone. If I allow my view of myself and the world of others and others to be defined by that and forget that most of the world is not that,
yeah,
I'm like I'm being stingy towards myself, I think.
yeah, yeah,
I'm not
absolutely.
being generous to myself or
Mhm,
to anyone else at that point.
mhm.
It just it contracts everything, you know? Oh, I think you froze for a minute, my friend. Are you there? Oh. Oh, yep. I think Kaitlin froze. She was so stunned by that last bit of wisdom that she had to leave. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining us, and thanks to Kaitlin. I will hopefully see you guys next week. All right. Be well, my friends. Oh, you're back. Okay, I was just
You're
saying bye on your behalf.
sorry.
That's okay.
Everyone. It's great.
I love you. Bye. Thanks, honey.
Thank you.